Esta es una muestra de los documentales técnicos de geología con los cuales nuestros alumnos perfeccionan su inglés. Neurolingüística, Thinking English.
Earth, a 4.5 billion-year-old planet, still evolving. As continents shift and clash, volcanoes erupt, and glaciers grow and recede, the Earth's crust is carved in numerous and fascinating ways, leaving a trail of geological mysteries behind. In this episode, the 450 million-year-old geological history of New York City is explored. A metropolis pockmarked with strange rocks, haunted by footprints of ancient giant reptiles, and lined with a vast curtain of solidified lava. Scientists investigate the evidence for fiery volcanoes, massive floods, and ice sheets 4 times as high as the Empire State Building. The clues to understanding New York City's geological past provides a window into the formation of the Earth itself. The investigation into New York City's geological history begins here, with Manhattan's rocky outcrops. These rocks are clues to how the land was made and how its geology helped it become a dense, thriving, pulsating city. They're scattered all over Manhattan, poking through the surface of parks and through the concrete between the buildings. Some, squashed between 2 apartment blocks, are the size of a whale. They are the extraordinary survivors of ancient times. Most importantly, they are the surface tips of the bedrock in which Manhattan's buildings are anchored. Gigantic skyscrapers stand in 2 clusters, in downtown and midtown. In the section between, the buildings are lower. The clues to the shape of Manhattan's familiar skyline are the rocks beneath the surface. A leading expert on the rocks in New York is geologist Charles Megarian.
The entire history of the development of the Earth's crust is emblazoned in the rocks beneath us. The rocks here in New York City harbor an ancestry that dates back over 1 billion years of time.
Megarian is searching for evidence to show how the city's bedrock was made. At Inwood Hill Park in Upper Manhattan, he's found an extremely hard piece of the bedrock known as Manhattan schist. To the untrained eye, it's just a piece of rock. But to Megarian, this is his first clue.
The rocks that we're looking at right here are rocks of the Manhattan schist formation. And these rocks are very severely deformed. And the structures here in this rock is a structure that comes up like this, bends around, and comes back down on itself as such. And in 3-dimensional view, it's a structure that looks something like this, a very, very tight fold with a plunge towards the south here. These are rocks that were very, very strongly deformed over protracted periods of time. And it's the same bedrock that occurs over much of New York City.
This tight fold in the rock suggests New York's bedrock was formed under great pressure. To confirm this hunch, Megarian takes a sample to the lab for detailed analysis. Radiometric dating proves this rock is about 450 million years old. But the rock has even greater secrets to tell. It contains a kaleidoscope of minerals, which opens a window into the ancient world. The geology that created one of the greatest cities on Earth also has the potential to destroy it. Experts have been studying the potential threat to the city.
We're standing here in Lower Manhattan on one of our major thoroughfares, Canal Street. And it's important because in 1821, a Category 2 hurricane raised the water level at the Battery 13 feet in 1 hour. And literally, the Hudson River met the East River, and Canal Street was covered by water, and Manhattan was actually 2 islands for 3 hours until the water receded.
New York City is vulnerable because of its position on the coast. Long Island stretches northeast at a right angle from the New Jersey shore. New York City is nestled behind the western end of Long Island. Normally, the island protects the city from the sea. But when hurricanes threaten, the opposite is true. Long Island becomes a dangerous liability. Hurricanes racing north along the beaches of the Atlantic coast pile up huge bulges of water in front of them. They're called storm surges. Hitting the right-angle junction at Long Island, the winds funnel the storm surge in through the Narrows, the gap between Long Island and New Jersey.
This is the place at the actual apex of the right angle in New York where all the water being pushed by a hurricane would be concentrated. And in the distance is the Verrazano Bridge, and all that water is going to go through the passage we call the Narrows, and is going to be accelerated toward New York City, where it will rise to abnormal heights.
Experts believe that in the United States, New York is the third most vulnerable city after Miami and New Orleans to a hurricane disaster. If it was hit today, the consequences would be serious.
New York City is hit by hurricanes only infrequently, like in 1821 and in 1893 and in 1938. However, the point is that the hurricane that will eventually hit New York City again will be catastrophic. And what is going to happen when the utilities are knocked out? What is going to happen when salt water reaches into the subways and ruins the electrical system? We're talking about unbelievable amounts of money to restore the infrastructure. We're talking about setbacks and delays in commerce and banking and transportation, a catastrophe that's never been seen.
Neurolingüística Thinking English te da la bienvenida a su nuevo programa Londres en Bogotá. Ya no es necesario hacer largos y costosos viajes para aprender inglés. Aprende el idioma en tan solo 6 meses aplicando tecnología de punta basada en la programación neurolingüística, una metodología revolucionaria que simplifica el aprendizaje para hacerlo divertido, cantando, bailando, riendo y divirtiéndose. Alcance más rápido sus metas, no pierda oportunidades laborales, académicas o de entretenimiento. Solicite una clase gratuita. Neurolingüística Thinking English. Nuestra meta, convertir a Colombia en el Londres de Latinoamérica.